Hello everyone, welcome to today's webinar. Today we'll be going over learning how to deploy enterprise reporting on Docker and Azure App Service. If you would like to begin presenting, please go ahead.
Hello everyone, welcome to today's webinar. My name is Ranganathan and I am a part of Bold Reports team. I will demonstrate how to deploy Bold Reports in Docker Compose and Azure App Service. Let's begin. As I mentioned in agenda, I will present a quick introduction about our Bold Reports enterprise reporting. Following that, I will start to discuss about what is Docker Compose, requirements and basic command of Docker, installation on Docker desktop, Ssl configuration, and client library installation, followed by Azure App Service overview, basic requirements and how to configure the Azure App Service, deploy Bold Reports application in Azure using ARM template, and finally, configuration of client libraries in Azure. Let me begin by sharing a few details about enterprise reporting. Business users need a reporting tool to track and improvise their business. Do you have a data in your DB, but you are not sure how to visualize those data? Bold Reports will help you to create the report to display your data in visualized format. Bold Reports Enterprise Reporting is a business intelligence report management tool built by Syncfusion for creating, managing, and distributing pixel-perfect PageNet RTL reports behind the organization firewall. Enterprise reporting helps us to analyze, explain, and report business information in our day-to-day life. Let's see how to install in Docker container. Before installation, let us have a brief about Docker Compose. Docker Compose is a tool for defining and running a multi-Docker container application. Then with a single command, you can create and start all the service from your configuration. Docker Compose is great for development, testing, and staging environment, as well as CI workflows. Let me list out some of the key features can be performed by Docker Compose. Containers are designed to run on a single host as they have a traditional being focused on development and testing workflows. As Compose preserve all volumes used by your service, the previous data will be backed up, so there is no risk of data loss. We can also use Compose to recreate the changed containers. Now we know what is Docker Compose and its usage. Let's look at the requirement for deploying the application in Docker. Your hosting machine should have a 16 GB RAM of installing the following softwares. The software are necessary to run the Bold Reports Enterprise Edition. First and foremost, we need a Docker desktop, and followed by you can use any one of the database like MS SQL, PostgreSQL, or MySQL. Please make sure DB will be accessible by outside the machine too. And I give one tip for the DB usage while deploying in Docker. And you can use any one of the browsers like Edge, Firefox, or Google Chrome. And for the command of Docker Compose up is execute the Docker Compose YAML file. By this command, the application will start. Docker Compose down is remove the container which is created in a Docker desktop, and you can also remove the volumes which is created for that application. Now we have prepared the environment with all necessary requirements for deployment. To get started with the installation, we have to download the Docker Compose files. It can be downloaded from our official Bold Reports GitHub branch through the link mentioned in the slide. Now let's see deployment process in Docker desktop. My plan is to deploy the Bold Reports Enterprise reporting in my own machine. with the Docker desktop. I already downloaded the Docker Compose file from a GitHub branch. First, we need to make some changes in Docker Compose YAML file. Opening in the Docker Compose in Notepad. We need to change the application base URL in this section. So I'm going to deploy in my own machine. So I give us a host.docker.internal. In app base URL section. And we need to give the default config file path location in this section. So my default config file path is in this location. So I give this. So I give it in this section. So in this PGDB section, it will create a Postgres DB container in our Docker desktop for this application alone. If you want to use this DB, you can give a password like for your wish. For my convenience, I will give us admin at 123. So this is my password for this Postgres DB. I can use this DB in while start up the application in Docker desktop. So you don't need any online DB. So we can use this DB for this application alone. And for SSL configuration, let me define what is SSL configuration and how we can configure it in our application. SSL stands for Secure Socket Layer. It's standard technology for keeping an internet connection secure and safeguarding any sensitive data that is being sent between two systems. By default, the application will be hosted in non-SSL mode. If you want to configure the SSL, we need to uncomment the lines in default config file path, default config file, as well as in Docker Compose file. So we need to uncomment these lines in Docker Compose and in default config file path. Default config file. For example, I give us a domain name as a webinar.boldreports.com. Bold report support connect with the third-party data source also. We use a client library such as Oracle, PostgreSQL, and MySQL. To connect with the respective SQL database variant, we need to read and accept the client library license to install the client libraries. Phantom.js is a headless WebKit scriptable with the JavaScript. This file is necessary for export the data visualization reports. Let me show how to install client libraries and how to up our containers. Go to our Docker Compose file. If you need to install optional libraries, you need to uncomment these lines. So we need to give what are all the client libraries we need to install. So those values are already presented here. I need all the three client libraries. So I didn't change anything in this section. So I will leave it as. So save the file. Go to the file location. Open the PowerShell from this location. And run the Docker Compose up command. So now the containers are creating in our Docker desktop. Now all the containers are up. We can ensure it in a Docker desktop. In Docker desktop, go to the containers and app. Here you can see this is the Docker files having this is a folder name which is having a Docker compose YAML file. So in this, expand this, we can see the containers. So these containers for our sub applications, and this is for a PostgreSDB, and this is for the Nginx. If you want to access your application, you can simply click this button. So it will redirect our application startup page. Because I give the base URL as a host.docker.internet. That's why it shows as a localhost 8080. It's using the 8080 port. So you can log in and activate your account, then you can finish your startup. Now let us see how to deploy Azure App Service. Before the deployment, let us have a brief about Azure App Service. Azure App Service is a platform as a service offering from Microsoft. We use it to host web application, REST APIs, backend service for mobile applications. How Azure App Services differ from on-premise hosting? If you're hosting the application on your own on-premise server, you need to set up the network configure, softwares, OS we need to install, and we need to maintain. But in Azure App Service, you don't have to worry about any of the things like managing the network or underlying infrastructures. All these are taken care by Azure. So this gives you more time to concentrate on your business. Let me share a quick knowledge about features of Azure App Service. Azure handles deploying your application to multiple servers and high availability. So deployment will be fast. Auto scaling. Based on your plan, you can define the auto scale rule and increase the server size. Actually, we all know the Microsoft Azure offers pay as you go pricing for the product. So we don't need much worry about the pricing. Now we are exciting about to deploy the Bold Reports application in Azure App, isn't? Before proceeding, we need some necessary software requirements for deployment. Let's see that first. We definitely need a Microsoft Azure subscription. If you are new to Azure, you can start with a free trial and later you can buy the subscription. As I said in a previous section, we need any one of the database like MS SQL, PostgreSQL, or MySQL. And same like a web browser. We need any one of, you can use any one of the browsers like Edge, Firefox, or Chrome. And for the Azure App Service plan, we recommended to go with the B3 plan, it having a 7 GB RAM, 10 GB storage. So price is also reasonable. Now we done all the necessary requirement for deployment. Time to start it with the installation. We have to download the ARM template file. It can be downloaded from our Bold Reports GitHub branch through the link mentioned in the slide. Let's dive into the installation demo now. So I have the resource group with a subscription plan. So please click on the create. In search box, search a template deployment. Click on create. Choose the build your own template in the editor. I download the ARM template from our GitHub branch. I copied that and paste it in this editor and saved it. So we need to give the app service name. And we need to give the storage account also. So click on review plus create. So it will review our ARM template. If any issues in the ARM template, it will show here. So validation passed, there is no issue in our ARM template. So click on create. So the deployment process will take a minimum of 15 minutes. So I already created one Azure App Service. Once you deployed your Azure App Service, you can access your site with this URL. Okay, it's in running status. Once you click on the go button, it will redirect to this page. So in this, click on debug console and open the PowerShell. We need to change the directory here. For that, I will run this command. So the directory was changed now. And this command is used to for install the client libraries in our Azure App Service. So what are all the client libraries we need? We need to give the values in this parameter section. I need all the three client libraries. So I give as it is. I'm going to run this command in a PowerShell. Now we can see all the client libraries are installed in our Azure App Service. Thank you for attending this webinar. Thank you.
This concludes today's presentation, so thank you everyone and have a great day.